Hey everyone, Felipe here. Welcome to another Tower of Saviors GNN review video. This week we have some pretty big news for the new Attack on Titan crossover event, and it includes a couple new buffs to existing characters. And personally, I'm really excited because I thought the base form of these cards were a little bit weak. So, with these new updates, hopefully we will see a revamp on their active skills and leader skills and maybe make this series a little bit more worth pulling for. Without further ado, let's get started and let's see what we have for this week's GNN news. So this week we are going to have Eren Yeager, Annexation, as well as Armin Arlets switching into Colossal Titan, and the Ultimate Lord for this crossover event, which is going to be Zeke Yeager and Beast Titan. So we have switching, we have annexation, and annexation. It's something different from evolution, I believe, and power release. So when the leader is Eren Yeager and the neighboring member is one of the specified titans, summoners may activate his active skill to annex the titan on the right and turn the character into attack titan of the corresponding attribute. This is going to be similar to power release Ingzen, where he can just eat the next character and become a 2 slot card, but in this case you are limited to just certain titans. So here we have if new team skill, if the member next to the leader is one of the following Titan members, the leader will acquire active skill 2, Annexation. Annex the neighboring member on the right with its HP, attack, and recovery basic value. Clear the skill effects of the annexed characters, which makes sense because you are just eating them up and now they disappear from your team. But uh, as a benefit, you get additional stats and additional active skills. The Titan members that you can annex are going to be the Cart Titan, the Colossal Titan Berthold, the Jaw Titan, Annie Leonhardt and Female Titan, Warhammer Titan, Reiner Braun and Armor Titan, or Zeke Yeager and Beast Titan. The leader is going to be, well, the condition is the leader is Eren Yeager and the ally is any Scout Regiment member. So, overall, this is going to be a buff for Eren Yeager teams. How much of a buff? Let's take a look. So, when you annex, you can become either Attack Titan, Water, Fire, Earth, Light, or Dark. Your leader skill becomes Member of the character's attribute, and humans will have an attack increase of 10 times and a 2 times HP and recovery boost. When the team has 3 or more Scout Regiment members, team attack increases by 2.2 additionally. Scout Regiment and Titan members will each launch an extra attack as much as 50% of its own attack. By dissolving 3 or more groups of runestones, team attack increases by 2.5 times additionally. But yeah, so let's see, this is basically the same. Burning, crack positions. Actually, is that? Well, let's see. I'm gonna have to pull that up. Not the wiki. Okay, so let's compare. Uh, basically, oh, after the switch. After the switch, you are staying 2.2, 2.2, extra attacks, and 2 times additional. 2.5 times. So basically, the thing that changes here is that you are able to control what attribute you have. Uh, oh, wait, I have a thought. But basically, the good thing about the annexation is that you can make the attack titan any attribute that you want. And now, instead of your leader skills specifying that it's only fire members and humans, now you are able to just choose whatever attribute you want and have that attribute be boosted for your entire team. Additionally, there's another change. Your team attack increases by 2.5 times additionally instead of the original 2 times. But yeah, that is pretty good in terms of team skill. Everything pretty much stays the same. If we look at here, we have burning, crack position. 5-second runestone movement time. All runestones will be dropped adjacently. All runestones will be dropped adjacently. Um, all runestones possess the effect of Scout Regiment and Titan members attributes. According to the combos made, you get extra effects, 7 combos, team attack times 5, 7 combos, team attack times 5. Damage will be dealt regardless of trio, quintet, equal combo. Your same trio, quintet, equal combo. Otherwise, damage received minus 50%, damage received minus 40%. Oh, that's new. And upon receiving damage from an enemy attack, Eren Yeager skill CD minus 2 and EP of Attack Titan plus 2. So basically that stays the same, and we still have the same, um, basically the same team skill, including the Armin Artlet stat boosts of skill cooldown minus 3 after entering the stage, and same thing with hardened mode, right? Actually, no, he does not have hardened mode in this one. But here we have, if the leader is Attack Titan Water, you get an additional 40% HP recovery after dissolving runestones. If it's Attack Titan Fire, attack times 1.5. If you are Earth, Sticky will be nullified. If you are Light, damage received minus 30%, which will stack on top of the original damage minus 50% from your team skill. And if you are Attack Titan Dark, you launch 2 extra dark attacks as much as 25% of its own attack. So, honestly, I do think this is a nice buff, but it's also not that great because annexation, depending on what cooldown annexation is, for Inkten, I think there's no cooldown. You still have to switch into your Attack Titan, right? And so, even if you wanna benefit from, say, Attack Titan Earth to help, for example, your have run a mono Earth team, right? Here's the thing: base form Eren Yeager only boosts fire members, which means that you are going to have or fire members and humans, which gives you access to all of the fire members in the game as utility. On the other hand, Attack Titan Earth, for example, has access to all the Earth cards in the game for you to use as utility because Earth members will benefit from a tame times attack boost and from the entire leader skill. Here's the thing though, because you need to run Eren Yeager in your team and you need to switch, actually, I don't think you need to switch, right? Mm, mm, Okay, you don't need to switch. Yeah, okay. You don't need to switch. Instead of okay. There we go. I was mistaken, I think. Basically what I was thinking is running an earth member in a fire team will be a liability until you can annex. And that still holds true, except now instead of switching, your switching skill becomes annexation skill, which is also pretty interesting because that way you don't have to meet up the switching requirement or the switching cooldown, and instead you can just annex and start the battle with your desired attribute. So that's pretty good. I think it is a pretty decent buff and then allows Eren Yeager to be a leader for any type of attribute team because you can have a water, fire, earth, light, or dark attack titan, which means you have access to the respective attribute utility depending on the stage that you need. Specifically for earth, it also ignores sticky, so that's an additional layer of utility that you can use, and that is going to be pretty useful as well. Just keep in mind that because of Eren Yeager is a fire member, any mono attribute achievements will not apply unless it is a mono fire achievement because these achievements do take into account um, pre-team skills attributes. So yeah, so I think annexation is pretty cool as long as it's CD1, uh, aka you can activate it from the first round. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty trash because you will have to run different attribute members in a fire team until you can annex. But I think based on Ington's experience, annexation should be pretty quick. So you can just become a mono attribute type or benefit or buff your respective attribute members from the get-go. So now let's take a look at the active skill. Um, everything else that I said in the last video about Eren Jaeger stays the same for Attack Titan. It's just that now you get a little bit more of flexibility in team building. The core gameplay will stay the same, which in my opinion is still pretty bland and pretty eh. But I think the fact that you can build different attribute teams with Eren Jaeger means that it is more flexible and better suited for different types of situations. But now let's take a look at his active skill, comparing it to his normal active skill before. So EP7 release lock skills of all regiment, that stays the same. But now you release the lock skills of the members of the character's attribute, so it accounts for attack titans change in attribute based on what you annex. For one round, the character's attack increases by 6 times, damage will be dealt regardless of defense, and stun the enemies to inactivate them for one round. That basically stays the same. For EP2 though, we also get another EP2 skill. Um, actually, huh, that is not EP, that is CD. Okay, so because it's annexation and not switching, I guess, the attack titan of different attributes is going to be a normal card rather than a EP based card. So this is a CD7 skill, which basically is the same thing. It's just yeah, EP skill 7 and EP6. Same thing here. We have a CD7 skill and we have the CD6 skill. However, here's the interesting part. It looks like the active skill changes based on which attribute you are using to um, which attribute your attack titan becomes. So for attack titan water, you deal a sniper damage of 150 million to all enemies. The character's skill cooldown decreases by -6 if the enemy is defeated by the above damage. Otherwise, Titan members will enter or stay in a hyperstate for 2 rounds. That is actually a pretty not that great skill. Basically, it all boils down to a 150 million snipe plus a 2-round hyperstate. Because let's face it, in this current day and age, 150 million damage, sniper damage, is nothing. And it's pretty much only useful to get rid of stealth shield. And the chances of you killing something with it, it is going to be very low unless the enemy has a tumbler skill that leaves it with 1 HP. Otherwise, yeah, you are most of the time going to get the hyper skill effect instead. So, for a sniper and a hyper state for 2 rounds for Titan members at CD6, this skill is actually not that great and you can definitely use other cards to replace it. And in my opinion, might not be worth to annex to become Attack Titan Water because the active skill is so underwhelming. Next, we have Attack Titan Fire, which is going to have a CD8 skill and the following effect. Add 3 rows of runestones, extend runestone movement time to 20 seconds. For one round, after dissolving runestones, the first batch to be dropped will be fire. By dissolving 30 or more fire runes, damage will be dealt regardless of fixed combo shield and puzzle shield. This skill will not be locked. Honestly, this skill is really good, and it's going to be basically the annexation of the Colossal Titan, if I remember correctly. Yeah, basically, it is the same effect as the Colossal Titan, which makes sense because you are annexing it and basically eating it up, which means that you lose that active skill, but it's nice because you are getting it back. However, an added benefit of this one is that it will not be locked, and you are going to be able to activate it um, even if your active skills are locked. And that's good because it means that you don't have to activate both skills, one to release and the other one to activate. So you can always just activate the second skill. And that is a trait that is shared by all five active skills. But I do think uh, Attack Titan Fire has a very good active skill. Only because the Colossal Titan Fire also has a very good active skill. Next, we have Attack Titan Earth. For one round, damage will be dealt regardless of initial shield. Explode all rooms to generate um, water, fire, earth, light, dark, and heart enchanted human runes in each column in specific order. Um, Honestly, this is also a pretty good active skill. Ignoring the initial shield at CD6 is pretty powerful, and generating a fixed board after exploding the entire board is also very good. So in my opinion, Attack Titan Earth has a pretty good active skill as well. For Attack Titan Light, CD7, the character's attack increases by 4 times, while damage received will be lowered to 0. This skill will not be locked. Also a pretty good active skill, a little bit weaker though, because this is just one round of dodging, which yes, it is very useful and it can come in clutch very in many situations, and you also get 8 times 4 attack boost. However, it is CD7, which is a little bit longer than average, but uh, why have a... So here's the thing. You can run a damage reducing effect, but it only applies to specific enemies that will kill you in one shot if you don't have um, any additional ways of getting rid of them. However, if you are able to slot in the specific counter to break the specific shield, then you might not need this active skill. However, I do think this active skill is situational very good because of certain enemies that have very annoying skills. You might not be confident that you can kill them in one round, in which case you can just activate this skill. Not only do you get a 4 times attack boost, which will help you kill the enemy faster, but in the event that you don't kill the enemy, it will not deal damage to you and you will get another round to kill it. So that is also very good. Um, but situationally good. Because why waste a round dodging when you can kill everything in one round, right? Anyways, moving on to Attack Titan Dark. Explode all runes to deal a dark damage to all enemies. Generate enchanted human um, water, fire, earth, light, dark, and heart. Damage will be dealt regardless of defense, and Titan members will launch 10 extra dark attacks as much as 50% of its own attack. So CD8 for this type of skill is a little bit long. This basically boils down to generating a fixed board, breaking defense, and helping you launch extra attacks. And CD8 is actually really, really long, considering that other cards like this one are at CD6, CD7. I think Glasses Dude from Gintama was CD6. So, you know, um, not bad, but it's still longer than average. Don't get me wrong, this is a really good active skill because as you can see, recently we've had many enemies that will require you to deal many attacks. So launching extra attacks is going to be very good. And the fact that this gives every single Titan member in your team 10 extra dark attacks means that you are going to be able to defeat the enemies that have the 50 hit shield, 30 hit shield, 20 hit shield, etc. Faster and be able to kill them easier as well. So overall, I do think Attack Titan, the annexation mechanic, is going to be really cool. The fact that you can have the flexibility of running all 5 attributes and having access to each attribute's respective utility is going to be really powerful. However, in my opinion, I think these extra team skills are a little bit mid. They're nice additional team skills, but they're not super powerful, you know? In my opinion, I would probably run Earth just to get rid of Sticky, and Earth's active skill is also actually pretty decent. But that's just me. Uh, but yeah. So another thing, anyways, actually, yeah, it's fine. Because the yeah, actually no, I'll do cover it. Because the leader skill states that members of the character's attribute and humans will get a times 10 attack boost. However, you might have noticed that a lot of team skills have Titans members, Titan membered, etc., etc. Right? If there are three or more Titans in the team, things like that. But here's the thing: if you are running Titans, some of them will not be your same attribute, and that might be detrimental to your team building, I believe. But yeah, so this guy, if I remember, actually that is a problem that he had in the beginning as well. So yeah, because say for example you annex and become Attack Titan Earth, and you wanted to run Colossal Titan for the active skill, now Colossal Titan will not benefit from the times 10 attack boost because he is not an Earth attribute card. But yeah, those are small considerations to think about when you build Attack Titan of different attributes. But it is nice that you have the flexibility of running whatever attribute you want, depending on what you annex. Yeah, next we have Armin Arlet, which is one of the other jackpot cards other than Levi Mikasa and Eren, which in my opinion he was very mid because back then we didn't know the additional details about his card. We did know that he was going to get an upgrade, and here is. We are getting a switch mechanic for Armin Arlet. And for switching, it's the usual CD8. But for his switching mechanic, we have the following effect. Deplete 50% of the current HP to switch. Explode all runestones to generate enchanted runestones. Death damage will be nullified. And for one round, damage will be dealt regardless of trio, quartet, quintet shield, and defense. Deal a light damage of 100 million to all enemies. This is a pretty good switching skill. The only shame, it's a shame that you can only activate it once per battle because once you switch, you are done. So you are not going to be able to activate switching again. In my opinion, the best utility from this switching skill is going to be the death damage, which not that many cards have, and it will be a specific counter to certain enemies, and that is always going to be good to have in your back pocket just in case. Other than that, the other effects are pretty straightforward. There are other ways of getting rid of them: trio, quartet, quintet defense, and sniper damage. They all come from other forms as well, so uh, while it's nice to have it as a switching skill, I wouldn't save it too much or too often because, again, like I said, switching can only be activated once, and there might be a chance that you might want to switch as soon as possible rather than saving it to use the utility that you get. However, there's always an exception to the rule, so don't take my words too literally on that one. But yeah, after switching, he does become the Colossal Titan Armin. His leader skill will become light members and human members attack times 5, HP and recovery times 2.5, and actually, is that a downgrade? Nope, that stays the same. By dissolving light or heart runes, team attack times 5 additionally. So the leader skill stays the same. Yeah, the leader skill stays the same. But now we have a different team skill. Colossal Titan Armin will have an attack HP basic value increase of 10,000, which actually makes really a lot of sense because he just becomes the Colossal Titan, becomes bigger and tankier, I believe. But now you have 15 seconds runestone movement time, which is new. Before it was only 4 seconds. Burning will be nullified. That stays the same. Damage received from scorching areas minus 100%. That stays the same. All runes possess the effect of light runes, yes. By dissolving one group of 5 runes, team attack increases by 5 times. Damage will be dealt regardless of puzzle shield. Stays the same. Uh, by dissolving more than one at the end of each round, tap a runestone to explode that type of runestones to generate enchanted light human runes. According to the number of exploded runestones, combo count increases in the next round. That is new. So before you will be able to explode the bottom row to turn it into light runes, but you didn't have control on what it would explode. Arguably, there are pros and cons to this. In the past, for base Armin, you only explode the bottom row, which means that you are able to save different attributes depending what's on your bottom row. However, for Colossal Titan Armin, you explode all the runes of a specific attribute, which honestly is not a bad thing because it has a lot of utility when it comes to like weather runes of one attribute, weekend runes of one attribute, etc. etc. But keep in mind that for trio, quintet, quarter elemental shield, getting rid of one attribute might not necessarily be the best thing because you might get rid of a certain attribute that you need. Equal combo shield as well. But again, uh, if you mix it with different other cards from that ignore shields, then that is also very, very good as well. But most importantly, you also increase your combo count by the end of the round by the amount of runestones you exploded. So I do think this is a very nice. This is new, and I like it. um, because now you can choose. Do you want to choose the runestone with the most uh, on the board to get the most combo out of it? Or do you want to get rid of certain attributes that the enemy will electrify and things like that? So it does add an extra layer of complexity that I do enjoy, and I do think it gives more flexibility to an Armin team. Uh, for his new active skills, we have Restore Cracked Positions, Explode all runestones to generate human runes, Team Attack times 1.5, Scout Regiment times 1.5, and each member launches an extra light attack. Expects 3 to 5 will stay in play within the wave. That is a pretty good active skill, and it stays the same. A very nice buff for Scout Regiment members, so it's a good thing that he keeps it up. For his second EP skill, for 4 rounds, damage received minus 50%, unlimited runes without moving, and turn runestones touched into enchanted runes. Honestly, this EP skill number 2 is slightly underwhelming and disappointing because typically when a character switches, their second EP skill is really, 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 really powerful. In this case, this second EP skill is kind of bad. Well, not bad, it's just disappointing. Reducing damage, very nice. Time tunnel, also very nice. And then also generating enchanted runes while moving with a time tunnel, also very nice. But CD8? Oh, actually, no, for 4 rounds. I mean, still, there are cards that do this, like Tsukuyomi and Melody would give you time tunnel every round, no matter what. This is only for 4 rounds at an EP8 requirement, so it's not that great, especially when EP2 skills are usually more busted. But yeah, so that's going to be Armin. Same thing with bonding. Um, there are new dragon wares, which is going to be the Thunder Spears, which is another Scout Regiment exclusive dragonware. And honestly, this is a really, really good dragonware because of the -4 skill cooldown after entering the stage. Only because of that, that's already a very, very busted active skill or Dragonware skill because -1 is good, -2 is amazing, -3 was crazy, -4, this is insane. So definitely a good Dragonware to get. So definitely save up your Wings of Freedom to get this Dragonware. Next, we have the ultimate stage, which is going to be Zeke Jaeger and Beast Titan. He is going to be a Dark Human card with a CD8 skill and has the following effect. Explode non-dark runestones to generate human runestones and deal a dark damage to all enemies. For 1 round, damage will be dealt regardless of defense, and Titan members will each launch 10 extra dark attacks as much as 30% of its own attack. This is basically the annexation for Attack Titan Dark, and his active skill is okay, uh, for the same reasons that I mentioned before in Attack Titan. Exploding runestones, very nice. However, this one will not explode all of them. He only explodes non-dark to generate human runes, so you also don't have control on what's generated either. And CD8 is pretty long, and but the 10 extra dark attacks for each Titan member is actually pretty good in my opinion. You also have a team skill, but actually that's just the 3 or more Titans in the team skill. But yeah, CD8 kind of long in my opinion. But yeah, so next we have four-footed gunnery man, a gunnery platform, which is going to be Cart Titan. CD6 deal a water damage of 20 million to all enemies of defense, regardless of defense and enchanted runestone shield. Um, like I said before, with the attack Titan water, this active skill is pretty disappointing. It doesn't do much, and there's also other members that are good, that other utility cards that are better that you can use to improve your team rather than relying on a card like this. That being said, this card does carry the Titan archetype, so it does benefit from the Titan specific active skills. But yeah, so that is going to be all for this week's GNN news. It's like pretty interesting stuff, all things considered. We have annexation mechanic, which presumably is going to be CD1 or CD0, where you can annex from the get-go. And that would be amazing because now you have the flexibility of choosing what attribute you want your attack titan to be, and this opens up many strategies, many other team buildings, and other ways to clear stages by using different attributes with different utility cards to tackle the different stages. So annexation is pretty good. Not only do you get a slight boost to your powers, um, but mostly everything stays the same. You also get a different second active skill instead of your EP2 skill, which will mirror the effect of the Annex Titan. So honestly, a nice bonus, but yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that you're inheriting the active skill because now the Annex Titan is gone from the team. Yeah, next we have the switching of Armin Arlet. He is switching into the new Colossal Titan with buffs to his damage as well as updates to his team skill as well. But yeah, he also has the same active skill as the base form and a new EP2 active skill that gives you a 4 rounds of Time Tunnel and Enchanted Trail, which is honestly not bad, but it would be better if it were a continuous effect. Next, we have a new Dragon Word that is a must get in my opinion, only because of the fact that it gives you a -4 cooldown after entering the stage, which is pretty insane. We also have a new ultimate stage, which is going to be Zeke Jaeger and the Beast Titan, and he does have a pretty decent active skill. However, I do believe ZD8 is a little bit longer, and there's other options that you can use instead of this card. And last but not least, we have the 4 Fuda Gunnery platform, which is the card Titan, which in my opinion, I will only get for the index because his active skill is a little bit on the underwhelming side, and even annexing him to Attack Titan or Eren Yeager to make Attack Titan Water is also pretty underwhelming as well. But yeah, that's going to be all for this week's GNN news. Please let me know in the comments if I said anything wrong or if I missed out on any information. As always, stay tuned to my YouTube channel for more Tower of Saviors content. And for now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone.